Right, what's up, yins, guys? Here's a video I was gonna do in the first place. Uh, it's about the people anyway, to talk about the gang stalking that people are given gift cards and gifts and paid or whatever to do this gang stalking thing. Some people believe it's at larger levels than others. Well, fuck. On the internet, you got internet people, trolls that are literally paid, whether politically or anything like you and me were to say or do to get attacked. They're not just trolls, stupid kids, even though they look like I ain't gonna use up his whole video to talk about one stupid thing I was trolled by somebody that had a little picture of anime to make it appear to me like it's some stupid young kid on the internet, and it probably isn't. Some of those on the internet are paid, everybody knows that. But okay, this one guy, okay, talking because I'm researching all this gang stalking. We all do it, this research, because we want to find out stuff that's like what happens to us. And I'll talk to somebody to death on their video, in text, because sometimes I'm a better writer, and I do want to. If I did a long comment on one of your videos, it's because in me also I want to write about this. I'm a writer too, and a lot of stuff. If I'm typing, my typing is pretty damn good. You can bet I'm going to cut and paste that and use it, if I'm writing my thesis, or eventually, I read things like the BS syndrome, different authors, the BS syndrome by Victor Salupo. You can still get on Amazon.com, but I've read books, and some of us, do want to write a book on this shit and what it does. But okay, workplace mobbing is one of the things I wanted to get into, and I want to tell you my experience there with that. This isn't bullshit. Even if you don't believe this gang stalking is exaggerated or something, if you believe it's exaggerated, it's not at some big level, like politically motivated or Masonic. Say you don't believe that. One thing you cannot deny that does exist. As a matter of fact, you should believe this first before you can believe any of the bigger stuff or take out of consideration the workplace mobbing. Any of us, you can be a guy or girl, black or white. You can be. It don't matter if you're black or white, a dude or a chick. Somebody doesn't like you, some clique, and shoot, they're doing it like they do the same shit like fucking school kids. School kids giving little gifts. The gifts are always different. You know what I mean too when you're in school. Uh, but anyway, in a workplace, um, yeah, it ain't like just gift cards. Like you see all these gang stalking videos about gift cards. Yes, there's gift cards involved. But since, if you believe the videos like the story of your enslavement, everybody, it's all human farms within farms, and people sheep, and then you've got other people within the culture that video doesn't talk about. They want to keep their cliques, and some of it's like sheep. Whether you're on the religious side or whether you do occasional party or drink or smoke a little weed, take a little pills or whatever. Uh, there's this clique that if you leave anybody's clique, no matter who the fuck it is, or or if your family members are in it and you refuse it or whatever, you're stalked. But the workplace is okay, full of different people. You got the self-righteous people who their relatives are in the shit and they act like they're better, and all up front, like I said, and they're enabling. But it's only wrong if their relatives are doing it, and their relatives will be writing in the company you're working for. Okay, and it ain't just gift cards, and it's not just management in your workplace. It's like all these cliques. They're scared that when they're fucking you behind your back or whatever, they're afraid. Somebody has their own mind. They're going to be disagreed with, and the people that talk in these these different videos I was studying this guy, they're right. They want to isolate you. And people still have their own minds, right? They can say, fuck you, I believe what I want. Maybe this guy didn't do nothing to me. But what they do is give each other gift cards and different things like that. But it ain't just that. Since this world is like a farm or a free-range prison in some cases, your workplace is almost like a free-range prison. They want obedient workers and strong and smart enough to run the machines and do whatever. And within there's the cliques. cigarettes, beer, or whatever, or different cliques. So you get the other cliques inside, not just management giving people gift cards. They're giving cigarettes, maybe a bag of weed. And I'm not even hating on anybody that drinks or smokes a joint once in a while. I particularly don't. These crowds just, when I was ever since a teenager, I was like, fuck you. I was always the person that walk away. I get along with some people that claim that they're a religious person, give some of them a chance, but I hate a lot of them. I like some of them better than others. And some of the people that I know in passing, kind of friends, they drink more than I do. Shit, I quit smoking when I was freaking 17. And then, yeah, I lost a lot of different friends for that reason. And but anyway, people give cigarettes and all that stuff. And if they're getting if they're getting cigarettes, they're swayed over to their side. You know what I mean? So it's done that way. So anyway, if you got this far in the video, one of my stories where I was watching some of these gang stalk videos, especially this guy, and bang, it appeared right in my head, and not too much sooner the same time, a place that I got fired from for some bullshit. I was still in communications with people still in that company, and they said that. And they were, and when you get fired from a company, this is one of my points. They have people in the company give people gift cards to go on your Facebook. Make sure that if you're talking about the company on your Facebook or telling your side of the story about not losing the job, they show right up out of nowhere, even ones that, whether you even tell them you have a Facebook or not, start harassing you. And I had that happen, calling me delusional. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? They were stalking and waiting? Yeah, because of with this technology, okay? They're waiting for you to say something, and then they get their people. I could tell you another company that was doing that, but I don't want to make this video too long. But okay, this one company involves some of the stuff that I was doing. I have videos from when I worked for that company, okay? And I'm not using this video to talk about myself, but I was allowed to do some of this stuff, and before the clock, and people didn't like it. Also, you get stalked. Also, like say you don't want to drive a car, you ride a bike to work or walk to work or whatever. This kind of dovetails into other video I saw. It was kind of about materialism, but they didn't call it gang stalking. But you kind of will get harassed. Like there was this British guy. It happens on other countries. This British guy talking about how all the company was literally fucking with his life or whatever, and he said, quote, taking the piss about me riding the bike to work. I don't drive no car. They don't like you for that reason. And in my case, this was so I so related to this because this company also all of a sudden 3 times a week they had camera right the fuck there above the thing, and the supervisor didn't want to say shit. I told them, come on, they could if I did something, they would go right to that camera and find me, you know what I mean? Find me doing it and bam. But yeah, bike tires punched 3 times a week. But then some other lady that I was talking to, I used to work with, she gave me a ride home once when I wasn't feeling well. She told some little story about people in the company. Camera in the damn parking lot. Nobody's seeing it, even seeing it. Yeah, with cameras in the parking lot. They took the bolts loosed off of her wheels. And when you do that, they caught that in a camera, you could probably prosecute them like you were attempting to harm or kill them. You know what I mean? And she told me this. I'm taking her word for it. I was like, fuck. But anyway, the gift card thing, I found out later that I didn't get wise to it completely right away, but I had a friend who was okay, says, oh, can I borrow money or have money? What I did, instead of saying no, I said, because there are some things that I did in my videos before the clock that you see me doing on YouTube. I don't give a fuck if you care about any other workouts I do, but that's part of how I solve gang stalking too, and some showing off and having a little fun. But I said, okay, I'll just give you this amount of money and maybe a few dollars more. Just hold the camera. Yeah, and so there was one of my YouTube videos in that company right there. But yeah, that I was some of the stuff that I can understand. They told me, oh, don't do that no more. But I was given gift cards. Okay, I was giving gift cards and a little bit of money and giving little gifts like Bluetooth speaker. I said, oh, this Bluetooth speaker, it had some use out of it here. Get an excuse to buy a new one, you know. And not just so people can man the camera. So some people that I knew I was sort of getting along with, um, wink, wink, look the other way, you know, don't rat me out, you know what I mean? But before, as long as I was staying within a yellow line on the side, they didn't give a rat's ass if I was doing like stretching. But there was a few other times, to make a long story short, that I had other conflicts with certain dude in a restroom. It was one of the shit starters, and people that were using the phones, their smartphones via Facebook, to gossip and say vicious things about each other. So the company started cracking down on people using, uh, bringing smartphones in at all, or else they'd be fired. Because yes, they do that via with the technology via Facebook. And some companies right now are saying don't even bring your smartphone to work at all, or you're fired now. So this company started doing that, and so I got no argument with this one guy. It happens to be somebody's relative in a damn restroom, and I said, "Oh, you don't have to say something like that." I mean, he was probably even looking for something wrong, probably watching me piss or something. I mean, probably a fucking weirdo with his big belly and short dwarfish look, and all that. And I looking for something like this because he does part of the custodial stuff in there, and never seen him do any real work in the company except push broom or whatever privilege. But then all of a sudden I get called in the office, and I said, well, geez, I should have said something the way I said. But he says, oh, he said he can speak to me any way he wants, all loud, and, yo, you fucking asshole. And I told him that he said that, and I'm like, okay, oh, hi, I can't speak to him any way I want, but he can speak to me any way he wants. Does that work? And say, and just, and I could say, well, I lost my temper, maybe he lost his temper, why don't we call it even? But all of a sudden they say, oh, you're not allowed to do any kind of exercise over there anymore. It's a hazard. But I did admit I was being passive aggressive over little shit, even in between that. But people were getting under my skin. So some of the things that are in industrial places in videos, there were reasons for doing the splits and then grinding the fists on one fist while doing splits. I even did it right in front of one of these stupid supervisor, to try a little kind of innuendo or whatever, to with a smirk on my face. But at the same time, you know, I had friends, half the place were women, and I did a little showing off, and some of the women that were the donut chomping fat busybodies didn't like it. Parroting things to, you know what I mean? There was a thing where I always preached about in a certain company, whether you're even outside of a job, if you did anything to show any strength, if you were a guy or a woman, they'd rather have you smoke and drink a lot. Not that I'm against, like I said, having a beer with a burger and a pizza after work or whatever. But they want you to do as much drugs as you can and drink, even though they have drug tests, so that whether you don't care if you drink beer, do this or that, or smoke cigarettes, that be your way to unwind after work, and then you just barely get to work, and then after that you're too exhausted mentally or physically, and then you are dependent on your paycheck, and you probably got kids too. And if you do anything else and you do like I did, strutting with a smirk on your face at work, with an MP3 player, whether you walk to work or ride your bike, where they're in their cars and SUVs, all tired, you know, big bellies and all that. And she's barely getting their coffee, and then I'm walking right in there doing all the shit that I was doing that's in some of the videos. I was trying to give you the whole basic idea without making it a long ass video. But one of the things I was going to say in a separate video, one of the ways to solve the gang stalking, well, the workplace mobbing, the way people want to look at you or say shit, depending on the place you work, you can, when you know people are just looking you this, that way and saying their shit or heckling in front of you, uh, like I did some of the shit that I was doing, you know, paying people to hold the camera up, do a walk in this way long cement area on bare fists to get, and excuse me, they know what purpose that's for, or stand on one fist when you're well developed. In fact, the one female supervisor was praising me to high heaven when I first got an application with the company when they thought it was just yoga. And then I have conflicts too. I'm being stalked on the internet because, oh, it's yoga. What do you call it? Yoga? Not it's yoga or not? It's devilish. But that's another video, okay? But if you do something unique, what I'm doing in videos. This is one of the things I'm all about too. Piss off your haters in the workplace. But if you're working, making pretty damn good money, it's best to do it sneakily. But I worked in places where I know they have cameras, and I was waiting for a truck to come, and I was bored. Or I had places where I had lunch breaks that were damn long, and I knew damn well there was cameras, and grinding the fist in one hand in different types of cement. I'm looking up the camera, and then I'm smirking at him and just looking right at the camera. But see, my whole channel, I'm not at all going to make my whole channel about this gang stalking thing. But I was constantly, extensively researching different people's channels. I'm not against anything anybody's saying, and the reason why, if I commented on your video so much, I'm saying how it varies, too, you know what I mean? And I wanted to say I lived in a neighborhood, oh, they're accusing you of doing drugs if you got money in your hand because you got a ponytail. That's the community policing part of the gang stalk. And then the other side is looking at you like, oh, you're probably with the police or a rat. Or they're wondering if you're buying drugs from somebody else or not. Say you don't do any, or you could have been a person moderately buying a joint off of somebody or drinking a beer once in a while. What the fuck, But these other people are saying, oh, he ain't doing any drugs. Maybe he does, and he's buying it from so and so instead of us. And they want to know, and then if they find out you don't do any, they're paranoid. They're worried about that you're a community policer or something. So yeah, you can get the community policing, look it up for you, or you can get the same people that are the people in the videos talk about the gang stalking. Yeah, community policing. These people do, even though they do their community policing, yeah, you get hypocrites that are doing that community policing, but yeah, if their relatives are selling and doing drugs, it's okay. And if you were buying and doing drugs, it's only wrong, and they'll only report you to the police if you're buying the drugs from other than their relatives. And I know some of this shit because I had relatives that were around it. I had a cousin that ultimately he got addicted to drugs, and he finally did the big one, and he committed armed robbery, and that's the last I heard of him. He made my TV news. But I says, I don't care what people do, but there's a point if you get involved in the wrong drugs and get addicted, it does happen. I says, but that's all I'm saying, that